This lesson is on the U.S. customary units of capacity. Let's try a couple of capacity questions. So 12 cups to how many quarts? Again, we're looking at all of the different capacities that we have here in the U.S., which is a little bit out of control. But these obviously come into play quite often, especially if you do a lot of baking. And if you do, my office is in the Educational Services building, and you should come and visit me. So 12 cups to how many quarts? I need to find that line that equates quarts and cups. Remember, when we multiply by that conversion factor, cups needs to be on the bottom and quarts needs to be on the top. So there are 4 cups to 1 quart. To find the answer, then, I would take 12 times 1 divided by 4. Remember, because this is just 2 fractions that I'm multiplying. And I would end up with 3 quarts. So 12 cups is the same as 3 quarts. From gallons to cups, gallons goes to quarts, but not to cups. So I can go from gallons to quarts, and then from quarts to cups. So I'm going to have to do that one. So I have 3 gallons, and my first conversion factor should have gallons here and should have quarts here. And my next one should have quarts on the bottom so that those quarts cancel out, and then cups on the top. So let's find 1 gallon to 4 quarts. So 1 gallon, 4 quarts, and then 1 quart, 4 cups, 1 quart, 4 cups. And so now we're just multiplying 3 times 4 times 4, and we end up with 48 cups. Here's a question that has to do with cooking, not baking necessarily, but cooking. You have a recipe for chicken tortilla soup that calls for 6 cups of chicken broth. How many 14.5 ounce cans do you need to purchase to make this recipe? So we are looking at cups and we are looking at ounces. So where can we find anything to do with cups and ounces? Right here. So really what we need to do here is convert everything into the same thing. So I'm going to go from cups, 6 cups, and I want to find out how many ounces is that. So if it's 6 cups and there's 1 cup per 8 fluid ounce, whoops, that's FL ounce, then I'm going to multiply those and find out that I need 48 fluid ounces of chicken broth to make this recipe. I know that each can is 14.5 ounces, so then I'm just going to divide 48 by 14.5 ounces, because they're both ounces. I'm going to end up, this is ounces per can, so technically my answer will end up in how many cans do I need. Now, if I divide 48 by 14.5, I end up with a decimal, 3.31, etc., etc., etc. I can't buy 0.31 of a can, so this is where you kind of have to use your noggin instead of just using your calculator. How many cans do I need to purchase? I need to purchase 4 cans so that I have enough. And yes, I'm going to have a little bit left over, but I need 4 full cans of chicken broth. You decide that you're going to make this soup because it's so amazing. You're going to make it for like a potluck party that you're going to attend, but you need to triple the recipe so that there's plenty for everyone. The original recipe calls for 2 teaspoons of vegetable oil. You can't find your teaspoon anywhere. You need to know how many tablespoons of oil are you going to use to make this recipe. So let's start by looking at the fact that we have 2 teaspoons per order or per batch, and we're going to triple it. So I'm going to multiply that by 3 and find out that I need 6 teaspoons total. Again, can't find my teaspoon, gonna have to use a tablespoon instead. Let's find out how many 6 teaspoons would turn into how many tablespoons. So I have 3 teaspoons per 1 tablespoon, and I would end up with 2 tablespoons of oil.